Good morning, Windows Daily number 291, where myself and the chat room stand ready to answer your questions that come to me by email at this address, or as a comment on any of my videos, or as a question in the chat room. I'm going to check here for audio, make sure that's working. Yep, that's working. And today is September 14th, 2023, 9 o'clock a.m. I'm going to start off with an email that came to me, 59 minutes ago. That's prompt, right? To get a question and answer show that gives you in 59 minutes. How about that? Let's see, make sure I got this set up right so that it doesn't reveal anything private. And all the way through the email, nothing private. Okay. From Martin Hogg this morning. What advice can you offer, please, when upgrading a PC with an existing hard disk drive containing the operating system and data to a new SSD for the operating system only and adding an extra SSD for data only? What is the best way to achieve this, please, so that the existing data, files, programs, etc. are copied to the new data only SSD? Also, what is the benefit? Well, now this is a separate question. So let's go deal with this first. You really can't do that. He's asking to, starting with a hard disk drive that has operating system, programs, and data. He wants to have an operating system only drive with the programs and data on the second drive. You can't just split that out with using any kind of cloning operations because those programs were installed on the same drive letter as the operating system. So you can't just move them to a different drive. You can't do that any more than you can move programs from an old computer to a new computer without cloning. Is it worth even saying that? Because when you install a program, there's a whole lot of coding that gets integrated into the installation of the program that identifies the drive that it's installed on. Now, what you can do is separate the data from the operating system and the programs. But if the programs are installed on the same drive letter as the operating system, you're going to have to keep those together or start from scratch. Do a fresh install of Windows, install the programs from scratch. Maybe you could uninstall programs from the C drive and then reinstall them on the secondary drive. But then that's going to be a matter of how many are you trying to do and how complicated it gets. That's going to be a little closer call as to whether you should start from scratch or can you uninstall and then reinstall. But trying to move the program files from the C drive to a D drive, for instance, and then go in and monkeying around in registry files or configuration files somehow to get it to function, I think yet that's a losing battle. And I've experimented a little bit with that, enough to say that, this is a losing battle. Now let's see if I've covered that. When upgrading a PC with an existing hard disk drive containing the operating system and data to the new SSD for the operating system only, and adding an extra SSD for data only, what is the best way to achieve this, please, so that the existing data, files, programs, etc. are copied to the new data only SSD? That's the catch there where you say programs. The data, yes. Now even the data can be tricky because some programs use some internal coding to identify where the data is, and if you move it to a different location, you may have to do some tinkering around in the programs to get them to recognize the new location for the data. So in that case, when you're trying to separate the data to a different drive letter than what it originally was, it's going to depend upon each individual program that you're dealing with as to what you have to do to get that program to recognize the new location for the data. think I've covered that. Glancing over at chat, Greg M., he can move documents, downloads, videos, movies, folders over to the second drive. Yeah, that works fine. The catch is with you included the word programs in here. There are some other subjects, for instance, your user data files. I find that useful sometimes to move to the second drive. Let's go look at that. Now, the way you would do that is, oh, this is Windows 11, and I've never tried it with Windows 11. I don't like the way they did this. Let's see, where am I going to go to get to? Yeah, here, downloads, video files, videos, documents. And I've got so many pinned things in this quick launch area, but documents, right click documents in the quick launch area, and you can go to properties and location, and you can move. So if you normally you would have them on the C drive. I've already moved mine from the C drive to the O drive, but you can use this move button to actually tell Windows that the documents folder is now going to be on a different drive later. And in the process of doing that, it'll ask if you actually want to move the files that are at your current location. So that's a good way to move your user profile folders, such as documents and pictures and videos and downloads, to a secondary drive if you don't want them on the same drive as the operating system. Some people have gotten in trouble with that before, because in the early days of Windows 10, people who had done that, there was a particular Windows update that came along and totally deleted all of their content, all of their documents. And if they didn't have a backup, I think they were just flat out of luck. Seems to me there were some records where Microsoft technicians were able to get in and assist and recover. I think I heard stories along those lines. But these days, I think I feel pretty comfortable about doing that, but I have backups. If you go outside the normal boundaries of Microsoft, the way they want things to be done, you're taking a little bit of a risk that something may go wrong, go wrong. And yeah, you're taking a chance. So make sure in that kind of environment, when you're doing things non-standard, that you have backups. I mean, you should always have backups, but is that true? No, that's not always true. What scenario is it okay to not have backups? Well, if all of your data files are stored on a server, that gets backed up. But then those are backups, right? But you don't have to have your local C drive backed up if you're not storing any data there that you care about. If you don't care about your data, then you don't need to back up. Continuing with the rest of Martin's question. It says, also, what is the benefit of taking an image of a PC over a complete clone before working on a PC? I'm assuming Martin is talking about the times that I have demonstrated that and talked about doing that myself. Since reading his questions this morning, I was contemplating, do I actually propose or advise everybody to do that? And I wound up concluding, no, that doesn't make sense. For me, it's important to do, and it makes sense because I'm bringing in computers from various different clients, various different offices. They have various different programs. Their computers are not consistent from one to another throughout their office. So it's far more likely that it can become useful for me. So as a matter of procedure, when I bring a computer in here to work on it, pretty much regardless of the reason why I'm working on it, whether I'm troubleshooting or upgrading, hang on. I'll start with making an image backup. And typically I do that with connecting an external USB drive, this guy right here, to a USB port and just start it. If sometimes I already have MacroReflect installed on that computer, and I'll use that, or I'll just boot it off of my MacroReflect USB drive and make a backup. And I'll do that even if I'm not doing anything that is questionable or of concern. Here's the reason. Let's suppose it's in here for something very, very simple and routine. I'm not worried about it. It's not going to go wrong. But by me capturing a backup image of that computer and then I put it back in service, if they have a problem in a week or two, well, I've got a backup here. It doesn't take any significant time for me to do that whatsoever. This is an 8 terabyte drive. That one I'm about maybe 500 gigabytes occupied so far. And I never know when it may become useful. It's not highly important. Now, if I'm bringing the computer in because I'm trying to fix something, there's something going wrong with it, I'll make an image backup, and then I can start up the computer and I can take a sledgehammer to it. I can rip files apart. I can change configuration settings in major ways, trying to get some kind of an effect. I'm trying to affect the symptom anyway. I don't care if I make the symptom worse. Whether I fix the symptom or make it worse, I make big, massive changes so that I can tell where is the problem. Is it in this group of settings or this group of settings? Then I know that I can restore it quickly and easily. All right, it takes a while for the restore to happen. I've got other things to do. If I'm upgrading the computer, if I'm going to put in a SSD, it has a hard disk drive, I'll go ahead and make an image backup from the hard disk drive, and I'll restore that image to the SSD. So Martin was asking here, I think very much on point, why do that instead of just doing a complete clone? Well, by doing the image backup and then restoring that, it takes a little more time on the clock, but not my time so much. But I have that image in my possession. So if the computer goes back to them and then there's a problem, I have this image that I can restore from. So like 2 weeks from now, the computer comes back, I can make a backup of the data files or copy out any data files since my image backup, restore my image and move forward with it. It just gives me more options of how I go about fixing it. And for instance, for people, we've got a couple of people in the community that work in a school district, lots of computers out there. I don't think that would make sense for them. I think they want to bring it in. They want the least time for that computer being on their desk. When I have a computer in from a client's desk, that's the only computer I have from a client's desk. When I have a client's computer in here on my desk, it's usually not more than one. Sometimes I might have two. But I'm not worried about in number of hours or minutes how long that occupies my desk. Another technician, that might be a higher concern. They may not, they have many of the same model computer. They don't want images of every different computer. They don't need it. It depends upon your workflow and your environment. So what is the benefit? I've stated the benefits for me. Not everybody is going to need those benefits. Many thanks as always. Enjoy your channel, attitude, skill, and humor. Thank you, Martin. Kind words. Now this part, P.S. I don't know if this is just a standard signature that he has on his emails or if he actually this is an actual postscript to me. Good afternoon, Air Canada 239. Welcome to Scottish airspace. Now that's not the voice. That's not the way air traffic control is going to sound. Turn right, heading 290, descend to 5,000 feet on the ILS. At the outer marker, contact Prestwick tower frequency 118.15. I read this over multiple times, figuring there's got to be a joke in there somewhere. I understand all of that verbiage from an air traffic controller. I even Google search Canada 239. Is there something in the news about Air Canada 239? I have no clue what that's about. No clue. Anybody? Bueller? Channel comments. I have one channel comment from Pineapple Road. You know what? This is a little bit long, and he's clarifying some things over the last couple days. I was contemplating whether I'm going to choose to read it or not. I think I'm going to display it on the screen here. And you can go back and pause this if you want to read the extra description of it's about the USB-C connections on the laptops and GPU. And then let's see, down here, this edit 2 is about Aiden crossing a street, problems with the signals. So maybe I'll go back and read this into the video, maybe not. Let me give it to you bigger. Oh, that's not good. Okay, I'll pause at each of these. For any of you that are interested, you can go back and read through it. It's a little odd to me that Pineapple Road is speaking on behalf of Aiden so much. I think they work together, and I think they're in a school environment. I hope it's okay with Aiden that you're telling stories about him. And then I think I'm going to go to chat. By the way, this is hot tea I'm drinking. Lemon ginger. Nick Poverman, my friend was mad at me because I didn't want to join him at the nude beach. He said I was too close-minded. I told him I just couldn't bear it. Thank you, Nick. Alice says great trailer. Thank you, Alice. Glad you enjoyed that. John Williams, totally awesome trailer. Doug, Sir Doug. Now I'm assuming that you enjoyed the trailer because my Beat Saber performance was so good, right? And it didn't have anything to do with Lady Gaga. Just saying. Rick Lakes, good morning. Martin Hogg, evening from Scotland. See, why is, oh, I see what's going on over there. Selden Ball with weather report. Tim Cruz, morning, everyone. Hi, DougBetts. How are you? What's up? How was your day yesterday? I'm sorry I missed yesterday's show. I was at work 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Whataburger, Unit 85. Whataburger. Is that the actual name of a burger joint? Never heard of that one. Brian, a woman who was being photographed was killed in a freak accident when a large wheel of cheddar landed on her. To be fair, the photographer did try to warn her. Okay, this took a while until I got it. Well, it's taken me a while too. A woman who was being photographed was killed in a freak accident when a large wheel of cheddar landed on her. To be fair, the photographer did try to warn her. Being photographed, large wheel of cheddar. Oh, yeah, I'm not getting it. Large wheel of cheddar landed on. Freak accident with large wheel of cheddar. To be fair, the photograph did try to. Yeah, I'm not getting that at all. I'm wondering. Okay, this took a while until I got it. Is this part of the punchline somehow? Took a while before I got it. Yeah, I don't know. Moving on. He can move documents, download videos, movies over to the second drive, right? Let's see, 903. He did say cheese. Oh, all right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I get it. Brian says correct. And you got to laugh out loud from me, for sure. Zavi Minor, hello. Let's see, Rick Lakes, Greg M., Nick Poverman, Brian Lightfoot, Zavi, Brian Lightfoot. Hello to all my cousins of the land of 10,000 lakes. So that's that, Minnesota? My brother lives in Minnesota. Yes, Rick Lakes lives in Minnesota. That's correct. I know that. Ran Israel, Shana Tova, Tizvi Minor. I'm going to assume that's some kind of a greeting. This won't scroll anymore. Rick Lakes, LOL, Brian Lightfoot. Oh, by the way, do you have my email address? Triple click that. Click this arrow. Scroll up to my lighted place. Answer there. And Alice is also knows the language there, or the sentiment. Get it tonight. There he is. Good morning, Nick Poverman, Martin Hogg. Thanks, Doug. Very helpful as always. Tim says, awesome trailer. Wintermute say cheese. Rick, well, that's he didn't get it before we saw that. Ken says cheese. Yeah, the photographer said, say cheese. And instead of, the photographer probably said, cheese, like warning her of the cheese falling on her. Hello, Jose, Photomix Media. Now, I had some other things on my list to talk about. Why have I not seen them? Let me go find, I had something else lined up for today. Yeah, those. Seems like I had something I wanted to respond to with Ken Stout. Nah, maybe not. Oh, I need to see if there's any shows for me to redirect to. Customization. Come down here to redirect and add. Let's see, is Dennis here? I have a subject that he brought up yesterday. I don't see Dennis in chat. There's a bunch of Josh stuff. There's a Dennis. Oops, I better refresh this screen. If Ken Stout has a show, it might not be visible. Live streaming isn't available right now. How about that? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I didn't get to say have a good day. Oh, look at that. It's on the wrong channel. So weird. Oh, I know what I got to show. Yes. Oh, I've got a few things. I got a few things, really. Let's go finish this out first, though. Customization, redirect, add. Tim has a show. That's interesting. Why are there fewer things for me to redirect to? Official Tim Tech, Dennis. Okay, I did redirect to Dennis. I'll go ahead and redirect to Tim Cruz. Live from his new laptop. Well, actually, that's the same title he had yesterday. Is this for today? No, that's for September 8th. I don't know what's up with that. That's a live stream that perhaps he didn't actually run. All right, I'll do Dennis's premiere. Let me update it, Tim says. Okay, so if he's going to update the timestamp on that, and that means he's actually going to do it today. That's going to be a live show. All right. If he changes the date on that live stream, you'll get redirected to it. Okay, here's the thing I want to show. Grandpa Doug learns Fortnite. We did this show this morning, and I went back to try to retrieve some information from it. It says 54 minutes and 30 seconds. But when I went to try to replay it, it only went for a number of seconds. Nope, now it's going to show the whole thing. Yeah, when I went to replay it, it was less than a minute long when I came into here, even though it said 54 minutes on that panel. But here, this is showing the whole thing. Okay, so I think that symptom happens when just after you finish a live stream. and it's still processing it. Some weird symptoms can come up if you try to replay right away. I just said I had several other things to talk about. Now I can't think of them. Oh, yes. Somebody gave a link yesterday. I think it was Wintermute for Xfinity gateways because Bobby Warren was telling us that he got a Xfinity and he gave the XB8. And I said, I don't know what that is. So Wintermute gave me this link and I got a good chuckle out of it. Let's see here. It's the XB8. Yeah, XB8 is what it was. The latest generation of X5 Advanced Gateway allows you to supercharge your home with supersonic Wi-Fi. Does anybody find that to be a really stupid verbiage for them to use? Supersonic Wi-Fi. I'm going to see if you come up in chat with saying why that was really a bad choice. Supersonic Wi-Fi. Is that impressive speed? There was something else in here. Super fast handling, multi-gig speeds capable of powering hundreds of devices once, has 3 times the bandwidth for more reliable connections. It blocks billions of threats annually with advanced security. It's made to do anything, so you can do everything. We're always improving our equipment. We recommend updating your device every 2-3 years to get the most out of your Xfinity Internet subscription. Looking for your gateway number. Review the bottom panel. Visit your devices. There were 2 things about this, and supersonic was one of them. Chris says it's very stupid. Yeah, Greg M. It's a little more specific there. Greg M says it's faster than sound. Supersonic means faster than sound. Radio waves are generally light speed. I usually can pull the number off the top of my head, the number of miles per second, some hundreds of thousands of miles per second. And speed of sound is like 600 miles per hour, depending on what altitude you're at. So supersonic Wi-Fi is really, really slow, super slow. What kind of frame rate can you get with subsonic Wi-Fi? I roll my own modem and Wi-Fi routers because why should I rent them for a fee every month? Tim says he just updated the stream. And supersonic in a race car. 100, yeah, that's it. 186,000 miles per second. I usually can pull that number off the top of my head. I usually know it. 186 miles per second is radio signals. Wi-Fi is radio signals. Speed of light Wi-Fi, I guess supersonic. It sounds like a big deal, but Warp 1, yeah, maybe that would be better. But I just got a chuckle out of that. Marketing BS. Yeah, they know that most people won't realize that supersonic is really slow. Although I guess it's actually true. Wi-Fi does travel faster than sound. It's just massively faster than sound. Ludicrous speed. Who knows the movie? I know ludicrous is a setting on a electric car. God, I can't think of any words right now. The fast electric. God, I can't even think of the guy's name. Oh yeah, it's Ken South's car. Oh, this is falling apart. Dennis and I had a conversation on our fortnight about refresh rate and frames per second, and he was more correct than I was. I hadn't looked into it very much because I always had 60 hertz refresh rate is different than 60 frames per second. Well, 60 hertz is a monitor speed, and I told him, well, my fortnight is routinely up close to 200 frames per second, but my monitor is only 60 hertz. So my monitor indeed can only display 60 frames per second. And I think the videos are recorded in 30 frames per second. So I do need a faster hertz rate monitor in order for the faster frame rate to come through. But Dennis and I do clearly both agree, human eye, you can't see that. The only place that higher frame rate and recording the higher frame rate and displaying it on a monitor that can display, well, no, forget that part. Just recording at a higher frame rate and playing at a higher frame rate, the advantage there is you could replay the recording back on super slow speed and see more incremental things that happen. But playing a game, your fingers can't click anything quicker because you see it in a millisecond sooner than somebody else. This stuff about frame rates in games, I just think is it causes people to spend a lot more money than they need to, put it that way. Then what was this other one I had? Oh, I had a chat GPT and I had a Quora that discussed the subject. And once it was very quick when I read through it. Oh yeah, I remember. Because I don't need to retain that kind of trivia. To me, that is all trivia. 1/100,000th of a second. You can easily see the flash. Yeah, if a light flashes 1/100,000th of a second, you can see that. But if there's like down here, they say two flashes, 1/50th of a second apart, it's going to look like one flash to you because the human eye does not see in that at that speed. Not even if it's on a super fast monitor. Where are we at here? Oh, it's time to send you on. I'm going to go ahead and end here. Wait till Alex hears about supersonic Wi-Fi. Nick Pilverman, 7. Yeah, well, this 767.69 is Mach 1. That depends on what altitude you're at. The speed of Mach 1 is not consistent. Mach 1 occurs at a point where you're breaking the sound barrier, but that'll happen at a different speed over the ground depending upon your altitude. Oh, Tim is at 1135. I'm assuming it's 1133 for him right now. Some people keep telling me their own time zone without me knowing their time zone. As far as I know, that could be 2 hours from now. He says yes. Scroll up to see the explanation for Shana Tova. I'm not going to scroll up. What I will do is highlight that and then Control F, Control V, paste, and then go up. Shana Tova, Shana Tova, Happy Jewish New Year. Okay, so I guess that also means it's the Jewish New Year now. So Shana Tova, and please forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. All right, I'm out of here. Here's the email address if you want to send a question. And even if it's shortly before the show. Yeah, thank you for Martin Hogg doing that this morning. Have a great day, everybody. And I will catch you tomorrow. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. All right, normal time tomorrow. Bye.